The next topic that I want to hop into is Sauce Gardner on the recruiting trail. LeSauce Gardner, as he calls himself, the GM hat when he puts that on. He got Aaron Rodgers here this past year. I want to talk about this a little bit right now. Now, I say he got him here. He's one of the reasons. Obviously, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Joe Douglas, Woody Johnson, the whole contingent went out there, got Aaron Rodgers. But Sauce is doing a little bit of recruiting for us Jet fans. Because, look, I'll be honest, I'm not super confident that players are going to want to pay the high taxes. I'm not confident they're going to want to play on MetLife's turf. I'm not confident that they want to go into a season with a head coach and a GM, both potentially in a lame duck season. So when our young players are getting us a little bit more excitement, a little bit more hype for this team, I very much like that. This coming up because Sauce says, LeSauce is finally back. For y'all that don't know, that's my recruiting name. He goes in and says, I'm not an official GM. I am a freelance GM that works from home. I'm just biased when it comes to the New York Jets. This guy sounds like he should have a YouTube channel where he talks about the Jets all the time. Maybe you call it Jets Talk 24/7 or something along those lines. I'm a GM that sits at home and has an incredibly hard bias towards our New York Jets as well. So I understand where he's coming from here. I love it. I love the mock off-season stuff. Now, as far as his philosophies as a GM, Sauce Gardner says, I know a lot of y'all are skeptical about how LeSauce recruits. First, I start off by getting an elite quarterback. He got that in Aaron Rodgers. Then I get the wide receivers that I know could win against me or win me a 7-on-7 tournament. So he's talking about guys in the past, Mike Evans, Aiyuk, T. Higgins, Ridley. All these names have kind of come up. Then I get an offensive line to protect my elite quarterback so he can throw it to him. Then I move on. So you could argue a little bit. Maybe you want to get the offensive line fixed first, then the wide receivers, whatever it is. I think we're all on the same page. Offensive line, wide receivers, got to happen this offseason. Sauce goes on. He says, Mike Evans. Oh, well, I guess NFL Rumor says, Tampa Bay Buccaneers Mike Evans reportedly watching what team does with Baker Mayfield before committing to re-sign with the Buccaneers. Sauce says, or is he? ... Never mind. So it seems like Sauce knows something that we may not know. Remember, Mike Evans spent at least a little bit of time with the New York Jets in training camp this past year because they did the joint practices at Florham Park with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when Mike Evans called Quentin Williams fat. So something to keep an eye on. Something to keep an eye on. Sauce goes on to say, you know what I'm talking about, Mike Evans. Very cryptic, subliminal, whatever type of tweet. So maybe there's something going on with Mike Evans and Sauce knows something about it, or he's just yanking our chain, just getting everyone all fired up about what could potentially go on. Then his thoughts on Brandon Aiyuk. Emmanuel H. says, Brandon Aiyuk is a beast, but only had 3 catches versus the Packers and 3 catches versus the Lions. So why give the eyes emoji now when you have 3 catches in the Super Bowl? Sauce says, Aiyuk is one wide receiver I see who gets open the majority of the game, but doesn't get the ball thrown to him. And he can win in contested situations. So even if he's not wide open, he should get opportunities to make a play on the ball instead of throwing away. That's sort of how we feel about Garrett Wilson on our side of things, right? Like, obviously, if Garrett Wilson's one-on-one, you trust him to be a better athlete, a better player than whoever it is that's against him. So you throw the ball up and you let your guy go up and make a play. That's basically what Sauce Gardner is saying here. So he apparently wants Brandon Aiyuk here, and we'll get into the Aiyuk topic a little bit later on into the show. But I love that the players that Sauce is identifying right now are players that I would very much like the New York Jets to go after. Now, we recently just talked about Sam Howell. Someone asked LeSauce, as an all-pro GM, what is your opinion on Sam Howell as a backup option for Aaron Rodgers? Honestly, it doesn't matter because Aaron is about to do something special this year that shocks the world in a great way. Oh, and comeback player of the year. I would have to imagine Aaron Rodgers is going to be looked at as the favorite for comeback player of the year. Now, you can also argue Watson, Burrow, Herbert, something along those lines. But the fact that Rodgers missed an entire season with the Achilles and the way it happened on national TV, I think it's probably a pretty safe bet that that's going to be maybe where a lot of heads are going to be. So, guys, let me know. Sauce Gardner, recruiting for our New York Jets. Is there a player that he's talked about that you specifically want the New York Jets to target? Is there maybe a problem with our players going out and playing the GM role? I've heard some people say that. I feel like that's probably a little bit more old man yells at clouds type thing. But let me know your thoughts. Sauce Gardner, recruiting for the New York Jets. Thank you guys so much for hitting the like and subscribe button on these videos. It goes a long way towards growing the channel. And then occasionally I get sponsors like this. So if you want to help support the sponsor of the channel, or maybe just get yourself some cool gear or some good discounts, you can click the link in the description down below. Today's sponsor, 𝐶𝐟𝐼𝐥𝐻𝐼, is going to give you 25% off your order using promo code JetsTalk. Link in the description down below. They've got gummies, THC syrup, THC seltzers. I just discovered these things. They are incredible. As someone who has been trying to cut down a little bit of their alcohol consumption and not, maybe feel as crummy the next day, this has been a godsend for me. Keep me nice and calm, cool, and collected, especially with all the hurdles that our Jets throw our way and all the headaches that we got to deal with as fans. So if you guys want to help support the channel, maybe get yourself a little bit of a discount as well. Support the sponsor of the channel, 𝐀𝐟𝐼𝐥𝐻𝐼. Thank you so much for watching the show.